Well, hello, listener, and welcome to this episode of... Nate, what's the name of this podcast again? I can't...
It's been so long, I forget. No, it's Stunning and Brave.
Stunning and Brave. That's
Stunning
the name
and
of it.
Brave.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I am not your host, Chris Cowan. I am a Chris, however.
You are a Chris. I am. It's written in my contract that the only people I can do podcasts with ever have to be first name Chris.
I checked that box. Yes, My name is Chris Quandt. I'm related to Cowan, brother-in-law
You are.
to Cowan.
Yeah,
and
that's
so sitting here in the hot seat for a little bit, Nate, because I want to set up a story. But first of all, joining us, the cornerstone, the rock. Can you smell what he's cooking of this podcast, Nate Henderson?
Well, thank you so much for that so accurate intro. It's true. I arrange all the podcast formatting. I do all the editing. I basically do everything.
It's really good. Yes.
Thanks a lot, Cowan.
Upon this rock, I will build my podcast.
That's why, to be honest, why we haven't recorded in so long, because I just got so sick of me doing all the work that I was like, Cowan, I can't do it anymore.
Air out the dirty laundry. I'm here for it. I have my popcorn.
And we recorded that. Yeah. And, I mean, I did so without his blessing, but we recorded it. So we'll post that eventually. I think that people want to see like behind the music type of stuff.
Do you want to start listing what's wrong with Cowan and all your grievances, and when you run out of breath, I'll take over?
I thought we were going to save that for a separate episode.
Oh, okay.
Weren't we going to? Yeah. I mean, with everything we, got to share now.
An intermission would be needed.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking that's kind of like an aside. Maybe even like a series, like an episode.
Yeah.
18, 20 parts somewhere in there. It's going to take a while.
It's like the documentary,
it's going to take
the
a little
docudrama.
Yeah, exactly.
Next on this 8-part series.
Yeah, it's like Netflix, but better, well thought out. So it's...
I don't know about the well thought out, but...
dude, have you ever started... do you watch any documentaries on Netflix or anything?
All the freaking time.
Okay, because that's kind of like what they've
My
become,
family
like, to some
me
degree.
For, that's the only thing I watch.
What I've started to notice, and I've noticed it for a while, like many people, but you start and you're just you finish an episode on a documentary, and that's when you realize that they have episodes in the first place. And you're like, oh, I thought we could just wrap up this story in maybe a tight 2-hour sort of film. And then you look, you're like, 6 episodes? 6 to draw this out about how she went from the kitchen to the fridge and was murdered? Yeah. And you're going 6 episodes?
Yeah. And I'm already...
It's so excessive.
Is that I'm already in, though. And I know the next 8 hours of my life.
Yeah, you're like...
I'm gonna go like...
You're like, I can't just waste this hour that I spent.
No, I'm already invested this far.
I need to go all the way.
The algorithm has my name now.
And then 8 hours later, you're like... Oh, man, I could have just looked up a news article about this, probably gotten the gist in about 10 minutes or so.
That's true.
Yeah.
All the backstory, though.
But the production.
It was so good.
The production is
and those
so
voiceovers
good.
reading the letter. Dearest mother. Did you ever watch all the Ken Burns documentaries? Did you? Why are we on Ken Burns documentaries? This is not where this is supposed to go.
Well, no, that's not at all. Well, banter. Isn't that the kind of the idea a little bit at the beginning? A little bit of banter and stuff like that. I'm just saying I'm just saying Netflix documentaries, you've gone too far. Okay? When you've run out of material to the point where you're interviewing the janitor of the CEO of the company that is doing the embezzling, and he's just like, I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing something shady in there in that boardroom. I couldn't be in there. I saw something though. I came in, I emptied the trash cans afterwards, and I can't read, but there was something on the paper in the trash cans. I knew it was bad.
Man.
You can't make a documentary out of that.
The accent.
You can't.
Here's 2 things for those.
I know. I default to the Southern accent, which is not fair.
Okay,
I will acknowledge that's not fair.
But from Jeff Foxworthy, who is a Southerner, in one of his stand-ups, he says, "You hear that accent, you automatically deduct 1 or 2 IQ points."
Well,
all right, that's from a Southerner from the South.
I am smarter than a 5th grader,
not
so
verifying that one way or the other.
Yeah.
2 things for those that may be watching this on the tube. It's what I call the YouTube. It's what the kids are calling it nowadays.
Is that what they're?
I don't know what they're calling it. Nate just automatically, you talk to Netflix, you like turned to camera, just shifted, and
let me tell you
for your office style talking head. I appreciated that. Plus, a little bit different backdrop here. So we are at my. Yeah. Thanks for coming all the way up to my place.
Thanks too for choosing the most flattering chair setup and angle for this interview on video. You and Cowan. Like, Cowan will do it like, on a couch in his office setting or something, and he'll be like, you can actually sit up on the edge. I'm like, okay, I've got about 100 more pounds on you than you think. So it's going to be, so here, what am I just supposed to look like, King Midas? I'm just like, I'm sitting out here. Do we have like a bowl of grapes? Let me tell you.
I didn't tell you. This is, I didn't tell you I chose the wide angle lens too.
Golly.
So this is, you're a big personality, Nate.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, but I look, we are recording, and if people didn't get bored to tears doing like a 360 tour around this place, we would do it, because Quandt has chosen an amazing domicile.
There's some
That's
character.
All I gotta say.
There's a little bit of character.
There is.
Could be a few ghosts.
And this is like the bit.
I don't know.
That's goes without saying. Yeah. You have a literal prison on your grounds. So
yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Netflix documentary.
Yeah. So if it's not disgruntled Native Americans, it's disgruntled, what is it, like pioneers. Basically? Yeah. So he's got disgruntled pioneer spirits
some
on
pioneer
the grounds.
couple that met a very terrible end on the railroad tracks.
Hands down. Hands down.
To this day. So that's not okay. So here's the thing. As you probably guessed, dear listener, at this point, we're not going to do your normal. What do you guys do? Like the Wheel of Morality or something?
Oh, like, we got to do all the bits, all the,
This isn't going to be
we're going to,
Yeah, you and I, this is going to be a long narrative, basically. There's something, and the only reason.
Long narrative. The fact that you worded it like that. Let's see how many people just click
and done.
Oh, man. No. I know what you're talking about. Welcome. This is a
free-flowing conversation.
Free-flowing narrative.
For your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And really the only reason that we're doing this is because something happened to you and I about a week or so ago that's just too good to pass up. Like so it's going to be basically, let me set the scene for you here. It's a story inside of a story. Kind of, Nate, like a nice buttery croissant. Wrapped in some bacon is
truly.
Yeah, it's going to be a tale inside of a tale.
Kind of a little story inception going.
Yeah.
No,
so
that's not,
okay, so like a good 80s sitcom, Nate, where we are at the top of the episode and we have the establishing shot. We're looking at the outside of the apartment, the business, the home, before we cut to interior. Why don't you?
You sure don't want to be one of those things where this shows the aftermath, and I'm just like bleeding out, and I'm like, well, I bet you're wondering how I got to this point.
Well, let me take you back.
It all started 26 minutes ago.
Cut to the harp music.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, well, maybe I'll start here, and then you start to jump in. So basically, you and I get together for coffee about once a month. We have our regular coffee shop that we go to.
We're on the haircut schedule. We're about like 4 to 6 weeks somewhere in there. Schedule. Yeah.
So we have our regular spot that we go to. It's a Saturday morning. We go. This is like it's no different than any other time that we're going.
Yeah.
Start ominous music. It was just like any other
bling,
Saturday.
Bling, bling, bling.
So we meet there. We get our normal things. You get the Americana, Cano, and a whatever. Quiche and whatever.
Ice.
I have iced. Yes, I have my coffee and
delicious
my
quiche.
scone. So we go there and we eventually land at a table. And this is important that I set the scene here because we eventually land at a table.
Right.
It was pretty crowded. So there's a table near the back of the coffee shop. It's for two. Like we're like, we're not going to be the jerks that are going to take up just 2 people sitting at a 4 people table. Let's not be those guys.
Right. Nobody wants to be those guys.
We're at some point in this story, we're going to be those guys, but not at this point. Right. So we're like, we're going to be courteous and we're going to go to the table near the back where it has 2 chairs. I choose the chair that my back is to the back of the coffee shop, and I'm seeing the entire room, and I can see the doorway where people are coming in.
You are the outlook.
Your back is to the back of the coffee shop, but you're seeing the back part. Directly behind me is a curtain, almost like a shower curtain type thing, or maybe a cloth curtain.
Little divider.
That separates the back of the coffee shop, and behind that is the door to the one bathroom.
Yep.
In this coffee shop, just one bathroom, unisex,
bathroom,
that goes in there, and that will play prominently in this story, and the results will shock you.
What?
I'm kidding. Clickbait audio.
We can't live up to this build-up. We can't live.
So we're there. The 80s sitcom music, the saxophone is dying in the background. It fades out. So we're sitting there. There's a fantastic story, Nate, that you have that I want you to tell our listeners because it's so good. It's at your expense, but it is
at my expense. Most stories are at my expense.
If we didn't record this, I'm afraid that this story would never get told.
That's true. Because I don't know when Cal and I are going to be able to do to share. We're going to have to catch up on a lot.
Basically, with Cowan, I'm asking for forgiveness instead of permission to record this.
That's fine.
And the thing is, if anybody's hearing this, he approved it. Because he's the only one who knows how to upload it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you hear this, it means he begrudgingly just man. I gotta give him some.
So we're gonna kick off with you telling that story, but inside of that story, I'm going to sprinkle in this second story that's developed as we're having coffee.
Okay.
So there's the scene. Cut to interior, sitting at the
having a cup of coffee,
sitting in Nervosa. I don't know, and
with me shaking or sitting on a very precarious chair. It's just
it actually was kind of wobbly.
Thank you, Auburn.
Yeah.
So I was basically telling Quandt the story of my family and I went on vacation to the Great Wolf Lodge in Manteca. Manteca, California.
Anybody familiar with California geography would know that.
No.
Fair enough.
Nobody would. Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on.
Look it up on a map.
Manteca used to have a wonderful outdoor water slide park, but it shut down, I want to say maybe 20, 25 years ago, and then they auctioned off all the slides and all that other stuff.
That's not the one that you went to? This is a different one? I thought it was
No. So the Great Wolf Lodge, I want to believe, this is what my kid brain believes is whatever, is that it was built on the site of the shutdown, which it's not. Manteca water slides, you have to build it on a hill, otherwise you can't have slides that go down the hill.
Got it.
Anyway, but the point is this Great Wolf Lodge was built as a replacement for the Great Manteca water slides because now it is in Manteca, and so aside from just going to an indoor water park now, you can stay in a hotel that's royally overpriced.
Yeah.
So my folks graciously took us to the Great Wolf Lodge as kind of a get-together before my sister and her family moved away to the East Coast. Hello, Rachel and Matt. They're not listening.
But if they are,
hilarious. They're missing out. Or no, they're not.
There's 1,000 words behind that tone that you just said.
I did not at all. So anyway, we go to the Great Wolf Lodge, and the idea is that you get access to the water park the first, so you could just arrive and you can go in the water park. You can stay the night, and then you get the following day to have as much water park fun as you want. And they got other activities and stuff to do inside. All the chlorine and and fumes and aroma,
humidity,
and talk about humidity. I think I mentioned this to you. Because it's an indoor water park and it's huge. I mean, it's like a giant warehouse sized water park. And they have it walled off, doored off to the rest of the hotel area. So as soon as you go through the double doors, just this wave of, I want to say it's a mix of its humidity, chlorine stank, and just people. So if you can imagine chlorine and humidity and just a mild fragrance of BO just wafting and it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Palpable. And you're like, oh, okay, if we're gonna do this water park thing, this is going to be the sensation the entire time, like the entire time we do it.
You took us right there.
So
I could feel the.
Oh my gosh! Like if. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever been in an indoor water park, but there's a reason a lot of them are outside because the fumes and the chlorine and
urine. Let's just be honest.
It's California, so it's dry. I mean, it's a drier heat sort of thing, it's not just being bottled up in a gigantic sauna. For you to go on these slides.
Did you wear any foot protection?
I did bring some sandals. I brought some some flip-flops, basically.
Yeah.
And dude, I wanted to keep them on the whole time. Like, cause it's just one of those things where you just see kids and just foot traffic just running everywhere. And you just know, you just know, once you get back up to your hotel room, you just got to take a Brillo pad and just start scrubbing the soles of your feet.
I'm just thinking chlorine, just bleach. Everything, just right on the feet.
Exactly.
Well, and probably burn it off.
And the thing is, too, like all those recreational pools, you know how they have I don't even know the type of texture that you call it, but it's it's not like Adobe or something, but it's like
sandpaper.
Yeah, it's almost like that cottage cheese sandpaper-esque concrete.
Oh, that's
dude, you
good.
walk on that for a couple hours and your feet are destroyed. You're just hobbling to the hotel. So
sounds like a good time. Anyway,
wonderful time. No, it was great times had by all. But so they've got water slides all over the place in this giant indoor spot, and so right off the bat, my daughter's very hesitant about going on the slides, and so. I was kind of like, okay, I will be your chaperone, through different things. So we go, dad. They've got a lazy river, they've got a lazy river flowing through the whole thing. We go in the lazy river, we hang out in there for, 10, 15 minutes or whatever, just kind of floating and stuff. And then I'm kind of asking her, okay, do you want to go on anything else and stuff? She's like, no, not really. So, and it was getting to be around lunchtime. And so we go and thankfully you can eat in the sauna. They've got a restaurant, little fast food thing connected to where people can just come up and fill up their drink and stuff. And then you can sit in chairs while you have the sauna atmosphere surrounding you.
Can I try and describe the smell? I actually don't think that we talked about this. The smell, I take it to arcade burnt pizza. Burnt cheese and the nacho sauce.
Right. Well, yes, and they had nachos.
I don't see this mainly as being your gourmet pub food.
It was namely a. Well,
I'm not seeing
Well, here's the problem. The gourmet food saturation point of chlorine vapor is so much higher than your standard burger and fries. So they're keeping that. They're keeping that in consideration.
Yeah, it's extra.
So
flavor.
Now you've got all those smells I mentioned, plus hamburgers and fries and everything like that. So my son, meanwhile, and my niece, his cousin, my little niece, they go crazy on the water slides. They love them. They're going, they're going on singles. They're going on the doubles with the tubes.
Isn't it that great as a kid that you don't have that perspective yet where you've been just ruined as an adult where you're just looking for all the things that are going to go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, I'm going to have athlete's foot now for 4 weeks when I'm done here. And also my eyes are burning. They're just kids.
There's a few drops in the cynicism bucket at this point.
At this point.
It's not just completely overflowing like mine's been for decades. It's just,
This is like a wonderland.
And you want to try to keep it that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You try and keep that to yourself. You're not like, this is going to end horribly wrong.
So they go down. They go down.
Before we get to that.
All right.
Okay. Pause right there. So I want to start to interject what is starting to develop now in the story as we're sitting there. So I'm sitting there, I'm noticing, so as Nate's talking, I'm always kind of keeping it. You never know when you might need to make a quick escape out of a place, Nate. I'm like Jason Bourne style.
Yeah,
if something goes down in this, no, I'm paying attention to you.
You are surveying the room.
I'm surveying the room. I'm taking stock.
Yeah.
So at one point I noticed as I mentioned before, sitting near the bathroom, there's a pretty solid stream of people going to use.
Funny you use that term, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it was on purpose.
Yeah, okay,
thank you for picking up on that. I appreciate that. of people going to use this one bathroom. Sometimes they'd line up. Sometimes they'd see the door was locked and they'd come back a little bit later.
Yeah.
In the midst of all of this, there is an employee there, and I noticed that she kind of keeps ducking around the corner of, because we're near the entrance to the kitchen as well, and she's looking around the corner to see if the bathroom's free, and this poor person who's working there, like every time she looked, it's just like it's almost comedic how somebody just like just went in.
It was like sitcom timing.
Yeah, it's very much sitcom timing.
Oh, for sure.
And so she's looking there, and I'm feeling kind of bad for her because I'm noticing this is going on. You're droning on and on, and so kidding.
So true.
Yeah. No, so I thought, oh my gosh, this is terrible. So at one point she looks around again after somebody just cut in, and I jokingly said to her, I'm like, hey, the next person that comes, you want me to hip check them into the wall so you have a chance to actually get in there and use the bathroom before, you know, and which at that point too, I noticed behind you an entire gaggle of, you know, the weekend bicycle
elderly bikers,
but not bikers like motorcycles, but like
bicyclists,
like in their spandex, and their little clippy shoes.
Oh yeah,
just dropping sweat everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of a stench that you could smell when they walked in, like the coffee didn't cover that. So to add to this, now there's a steady stream of people starting to come into, and this poor girl. I mean,
you can see the look of like doom on her face, just like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go next door and use the bathroom.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I'm trying to like keep an eye out to say, hey, if it's open and I happen to see her, I'm gonna give her a heads up because this poor thing has to. Anyway, okay, so that's what's happening right now.
And can I reiterate? I really, really hope that those bicyclists ordered something. Because,
we'll get to that. No, we'll get to that.
All right, all right. We'll get
that's
there.
in the next.
All right,
that's in the
enough,
next segment.
Fair enough.
So as it stands, there's people queuing up. She still hasn't had a chance to use the bathroom.
So back to the Great Wolf Lodge. Back to the GWL. Cut back to. So at this point, all I've done is gone in the lazy river. And the cling to my young days part of me is thinking, you know what, I should go on a water slide. I should.
Yes, you should.
Like, how often am I going to a water park nowadays? You know, it's like,
none times.
Especially ones that I don't even have to spring money for.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's kind of, that's, you know,
family trip.
Yeah,
family's
exactly.
taking care of it. This is great.
So I'm like thinking, well, maybe I'll do it. Maybe if the opportunity presents itself, that's great. So I'm eating lunch, yada, 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 and, or starting to anyway. And then my son and my niece, who, like I said, they've been going on everything up to this point for probably over an hour. They come up to me all rosy cheeked and smiley faces, and they say, Noah, I can use my kid's name. I do it all the time. Noah says, no.
Okay.
Noah says, Dad, we want you to come with us on this slide. It's made for 5 people to go on all at once. You get on an inner tube contraption that seats 5 people. So it almost looks like a star, kind of like in the way this inner tube is made.
And you can put your pizza and your soft drinks and
you can put all the food
right in the middle. It's got
now,
that little table thing.
If there was a nacho bucket there in the middle, that would be an even bigger
spot
incentive.
For the wings. You're in water. You just wash your hands off right there.
So they really want me to go on this with them.
Okay, so it's you, Noah, and your niece.
Myself,
right?
Noah, and my niece.
Okay, so 3. Got it.
My niece, who I believe just turned 7.
Okay.
Or is about to turn 7. I'm so sorry if I got this wrong. But yeah, and
minor detail.
Detail. Well, no, it'll come into play. It'll come into play later, as far as that goes.
My apologies.
That's quite all right. So meanwhile, I'm like, kind of has started my lunch. I'm like, they really want me to do this. I'm like, you know what? This is it. This is my chance. This is my time to honor that younger part of me and say, you know what? We're going to go on a water slide and we're going to do it with my family.
Dad and uncle of the year.
That's right.
All in one.
That's right. I'm going to be a hero.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a flippin' hero just for riding on a tube.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Nope.
Some of them wear spandex swim
Some of them
shirts.
can't fit in capes. And so it's like, we do what we can. So,
were you did you have the shirt off at this point, or did you
did
wear,
I?
What's the
no.
What's the apparel that we have here?
No, men of my stature don't don't rock the shirtless look. No, I take that back.
There's some that do.
I take that back.
There's
some do.
Yeah.
Some do. And
Loud
more
and proud,
power
baby.
to them.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're nowhere near the dining area when that happens. Okay. But for me, I chose to go a little bit more respectable, a little bit. So I bought for this trip a swim shirt.
Nice.
Now let's be very clear on this. Not a t-shirt that you just a cotton t-shirt that you wear swimming.
Sure.
This is a specifically designed
synthetic.
Yeah, a
branded,
bit more of the synthetic branded sort of thing, kind of like wetsuit, but less hopefully less clingy. And so I bought this so I could just rock that. I could rock a little too form fitting for my like. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
So, but I bought this just for the occasion of this trip. I was not
for where you're going.
I was not going to just like, here I am, and just and just exactly into the. They're like, hey, our motors on our wave pool are giving out. If you wouldn't mind just jumping into it a couple times, we'll get the rest of the crew here to get ready.
That emptied the pool a little bit more.
All right, everybody, here he goes. Here he goes. Please hold on to your little ones. Parents, just, this is not...
We're not sure what this is going to do.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen A Perfect Storm, but... okay, So I say, yes, you know what? Shoot. Heck yeah. I'm going to go on the slide. I'm going to follow you guys. And so what it is it's basically a, giant staircase, as it always is. It's like a spiral type of staircase going all the way to the top. In fact, the top, quote unquote, was built into a part of the warehouse area that almost had like walls. So you couldn't see what was even happening up at the very top, like from the bottom.
Yeah.
Like once you get up there, you're almost kind of like, this is kind of like a room.
You're
like,
up in
this
like
is kind of like
humidity clouds.
Oh yeah, this is where everything
Yeah.
collects, and it's just wonderful.
Nice.
I should have known it was a problem that things were gonna go south. The moment I looked at the staircase and I just gave a sigh. I just kind of gave a heavy sigh
because you had to now ascend that staircase.
I'm like, I did the initial check for the elevator. There's no elevator in this water park.
Where's the little
shockingly?
The little tow rope?
Shockingly,
that could just tow you up there?
They didn't want to invest apparently.
Not the little seat that you can sit up and just ride up.
They didn't want to
stairs?
invest to make all guests comfortable. So that's something I'll be talking with my lawyers about.
Okay.
But
So I'll stop you there as you are starting to scale Mount Waterslide to get to the very top here. At this point, there are people and again, comically so. This really big guy had just like muscles just went in and then goes out, and I'm starting to wave down our nice coffee shop attendant there. And at this one point, this older woman with a walker just gets up and starts making her way there, just slowly but surely.
Yeah,
and just like, oh boy.
And how can you just put priority over that?
And she's like, and I'm like, she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I can't hip check an old lady into a wall. Like, and that dude was way bigger than me.
You don't even know if the older lady's even gonna make it to the bathroom.
Like she's
it's like
close. So at this point, she refers to you because you had said something very witty. I can't remember what, but at this point, she refers to you as my wingman.
Yes, she does.
At that point,
yes,
I went,
she does.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, this... Oh, shoot. Okay. Anyway, I'll keep an eye out for you. So, like Chris's brain is now short-circuiting.
Well, to be fair, Quandt...
This didn't go...
To be fair, Quandt has been in the club scene so much during his lifetime. He's heard that term so many times, and he knows the implications behind it. He does.
When have I ever had somebody, a friend of mine who I'm with, referred to as my wingman in the last... 20 plus years.
You are a charming devil. I don't know if you know this.
So I like, ha 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 ha. So Nate, like awkwardly trying to like, I don't know exactly what that meant, but I think I know what it meant, but I'm not sure what it meant.
You know what's so funny too is that you picked up on that so much quicker. Like I was just kind of like la da 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 da
because it was directed at me.
I know,
dude.
because it was directed at you, and I wasn't even putting two and two together. That it was kind of like, you know.
Yeah, it was the wink at the end that really...
Right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There was no wink.
Yeah, no, it was the proposition to make out after bathroom time. That was when it started getting awkward.
So anyway, so we're like, haha, bathroom, and she continues on to do it. Still hasn't used the bathroom yet.
No, poor thing. My gosh.
Again...
And she's like forced to move around like all over the place.
And again, I feel from my point, I feel like I have to defend my point here from your accusations that are coming across the aisle here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just trying to be empathetic.
You are.
Like trying to make light of a situation. I'm like, I noticed you're trying to see the bathroom.
You were,
Anyway, back to the top of Mount Waterslide.
So well, not even at the top. At the bottom. Okay, so here we go. So at the bottom, it's very critical.
Yes.
They have a sign posted. They have a sign posted at the entrance to any slide that's in that park. Okay. And it has all the guidelines, just like the no-brainer stuff, don't shove your friend off the water slide or whatever.
Right.
But
no
then
holding people underneath the water for more than a minute and a half.
But then they you get it. Yeah, but then you used to run a water park. Yeah. Then they start getting into numbers. And that's what I was like,
like fun facts, 100
Fun
gallons
facts.
a minute go down this water slide.
They had like little riddles if you want to answer it before you go.
Did you know how many tons of water are used annually in this? Is that the kind of numbers that we're talking about?
Hold on, Noah. Daddy wants to read about the history of the water park in America.
The water slide was first invented in 1923.
Look, they've got a little theater.
It was known as the Jazz Age.
What a golden time. All right.
People just thought it was the cat's meow and Scooby-Doo down the water slide.
And the more kids that went on the slide, the more golden the time. All right, here we go.
Let's read the plaque, kids. Okay.
All right. I see printed out. Okay, so this is a 5-person slide. This is a 5-person slide.
That's a big slide.
And they have
5 people.
They have 2. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. You would think this thing is built to carry some weight. Yeah. Right. Okay. Very strict. Just 2 strict.
Let me ask you this. Do you have to haul up your own star-shaped?
Oh, geez, no. No. This isn't like the other ones where you take a tube up with you.
So you're not hauling the raft.
This is one where they have to build literally a special conveyor. And it was so cool to watch because they load it in and just and this goes vertically straight up to the top of the tower where it is delivered and people can then pull it and go down the slide again. It's just fun just to watch it go up.
Okay.
So no, we didn't have to.
Well, there's your way up there, right there. Just hang on to one of those suckers and see if it'll.
I tried that, and they said one more time, you're out of the park.
The machines were smoking.
Yeah. So I saw 2 very specific weight requirement lines in there. The first one.
This is before you're going up.
This is before we even ascended the staircase. Okay. First one says, no individual riders above 250 pounds. Okay. Second line. All 5 passengers must weigh less than 700 pounds.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, yeah. That second line gave me hope.
Right.
The second line gave me hope.
700 pounds.
Because I'm like, well, depending on how seriously they take number 1, that could be either an instant disqualifier or, if my math's correct, I'm sure myself and my son, who is, he grew to like 5'7", but he's like lean now, and everything like that. And my 7-year-old niece, who you could literally just, bowl over with a breath of air because, she's just so petite and everything. My guess is that the 3 of us do not come anywhere close to the 700-pound limit.
Flying colors.
There's no way that we can't do this. The 3 of us. Yeah. This is designed for 5. This is the 3 of us.
They can balance it out. They've run through this before.
So we start making our way up the staircase.
How many times did you have to stop on the way up?
Just a few.
Okay.
And
kids.
that's one of the warning signs where it's just like with the huffing and puffing, I'm like, well, this is a sign that I don't deserve the slide. I don't deserve the thrill that I'm about to receive.
No, it's just that it's going to be so worth it. It's just going to be so worth it on the way down. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to do it to enjoy gravity just doing its thing.
No, this is one of those spiral staircases that occasionally they would have just like a flat walkway before you get and you're just thanking God for that little 2-second break before it just goes, it keeps going vertical.
So how many stories are we talking here? If you had to guesstimate how high up you're ascending, I'm guessing like 3. Higher?
Oh, probably a little higher.
Oh, okay.
Probably at least 4 or 5. Yeah.
That's a serious indoor water park then.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. Like, it's super tall. Okay. Like, Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And, like, some of their slides even go out of the warehouse outdoors. They're enclosed. Oh. They're like fully enclosed, but they use the space outside of the hotel area, and then they eventually come back inside the thing. So it's,
okay.
So they're very space savvy.
Word if you get that hotel room that has a slide going through it. Is part of it, but hey, maybe
dude, what are you talking about? People pay extra for that.
Just hop right in and just slide right in too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Dude, I think I saw a movie in the 90s with that, and I was like, that would be so amazing.
Cool.
That'd be
it's like the
cool.
old air compressed mail delivery chutes where you just like open a little hatch, jump in, then a little chute, and there you go.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in at this point.
Yes, please.
Let's continue our story. Cut to our other scene here. Now it's starting to get busy, but I see an opening.
Yes.
There's an opening. I'm like,
there is an opening for the bathroom.
Flattered.
Finally.
Thanks for boosting this 44-year-old's ego.
Dude, you're like downgrading your age?
No, I want to think I'm younger. Thanks for boosting this middle-aged guy's ego on this. Like, okay, hilarious. So I see it. I'm like, okay, come. Like, now, go. And there's this woman that starts walking up. And we're like, and she sees it. And she sees her coming. And she's like,
yes.
Yeah, and so she sees it, and the woman, the customer, to her credit, acknowledges and sees that because she's wearing an apron, so it's clear that she works there.
Oh yes,
and so this woman is walking up, and she's like, "Oh, were you waiting for the bathroom?" And being the good employee, she's like, "Well, you're a customer, so if you need to." And the woman does not give her a second look.
No, doesn't even second. Yeah.
Karen looks her in the eye for like a half a second and just goes, all right, and just continues on.
And it wasn't just the all right. It was a little bit of a shrug.
Yeah.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit of like you're obviously. Yeah. You're the employee. This all goes without saying, but she was basically saying, "Well, you're lower class, so I'm gonna go and use the bathroom."
Okay, trash.
And the way that she just used this poor woman's just like mention of, I mean, wouldn't you just think, oh no, you've been like on your feet for probably hours. Yeah. You probably have to go. My bicyclist people and myself can just wait just an extra minute while you.
and she broke like half a stride in the time that conversation
barely,
and then just kept on going.
Just kept on going.
And we all watched this and we're like, huh? And you say, well, clearly she has never had a service type job where you've been in service. Yeah. And then our barista friend, she's like, haha, and brings up the question of, oh, what's the worst job you've ever had? And we kind of laugh it off, but we don't, because I think she has to go do something. So she walks off, and that question is lingering there. So we thought, okay, well that's fine. So anyway, Karen goes into the bathroom and continue on with your story.
So I finally get up to Water Slide Everest, the top,
Mount Doom of water slides.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the line there's like several lines. There's some waiting to go through like single slide sort of things. There's one with the drop off where you like have to cross your arms and like that capsule, and they do a trap door. No, I know, right? I will never, ever. And the guy, there's one guy that is working all 3 areas. kind of.
Oh, he's
working the tube. He's working
shooting.
the big 5-star tube.
Yeah.
He's working the capsule. Ooh. And then the other one doesn't require work. It's just like go over there and go down the slide. Yeah. Like it's just,
whenever you're ready.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say he was in his younger, or like his early 20s, maybe something like that. And he looked like he was having fun with that trapdoor shuttle, capsule thing, because he seals people in. He has all the powers to when he presses that button. And he was just relishing, the look of fear on this poor girl's face, that was in there. And just like, when is it going to go? And he's like, oh, don't worry. Just like,
now?
Yeah, now? What about now? Oh,
I looked over here.
Oh, there's something wrong with the button. I don't know what's, I just keep pressing. Yeah. So he was having lots of fun with that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we get up to, we're waiting in line. There's like a few groups in front of us on the tube ride. And then truly, like, it's stuff made of nightmares. My biggest fears become realized because they have I didn't even notice it at first. It just looked like almost like you'd see like some seams in concrete on the sidewalk or something. They have a ground scale. They have a scale that is built into the platform. It blends in real nice. It just looks like it could be just another square of tile or something like that.
Gonna weigh the produce.
Attached, right? Yeah, there was guys there with cantaloupes and and attached to this ground scale leads to what looks like a circuit box, and then 2 lights right above the circuit box. Green and red.
Okay, and before you said this in our conversation, I literally was going to make the joke about like a red flashing light going to be up there. I didn't because I didn't want to be like that jerk of a friend. But you confirmed my suspicions. So anyway,
and I'm sure, like thinking back, I'm like, okay, I'm probably making this worse than it needs to be. I'm pretty sure you had almost like a green panel light that was just isolated by itself. And I swear the red one was like a police siren.
That's what
just thinking back, just like
exactly how I figured.
And it probably wasn't. It was probably just like the green light. But when I think back in my mind and my self-conscious doubt, I'm thinking that I bet you anything they had I bet you anything the audible alarm wasn't working that day. And it just happened that it was just no. So they had this thing. And so it becomes very clear to me, they're taking rule number 1 very seriously about how any individual rider on this stupid 5-person raft can't be more than $2.50. So
I'm tracking.
So I'm just kind of playing out the scenarios in my head. I'm like, okay, one of 2 things is going to happen. They're either this guy who's about to be a college grad or whatever, or is a college grad, who's just working here for the summer, just trying to do his job.
Needs some extra cash.
He's just going to be like, maybe he'll have the nonchalant attitude that every teenager, 20-something person has attitude, where it's like, we all survived COVID. What's the worst that could happen?
You're in a floating cesspool.
You're in a floating.
Obviously, everybody's taking.
You think I take pride in this job that I psych people out in the trapdoor capsule? No, this is a summer job. I'm saving up to get a new car so I can get some. So it's
there you go.
No, get some friends. Sure. That's what I meant. Anyway, so I'm thinking that's okay. So that's going to be the first scenario where he's like, you know what?
It's cool.
Just
bro.
go ahead. Yeah, it's cool, man. Just everybody, the 3 of you, I can see there's only 3 of you. That's clearly just fine.
Yeah.
You clearly don't weigh over 700 pounds
We've
together.
tested the Richter on this, and it's proven sturdy
This
and
is,
strong.
I don't know if you know this, but the Great Wolf Lodge is actually built on top of a California fault. And if we can survive that, we can survive anything.
Gosh, the 3 of you on this raft, no problem.
And okay, so that was scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, I said he's gonna be fearful of losing his job if he doesn't stick by the book to the rules. And so I just kind of hold my breath.
You're like, I'm here now. I've scaled the heights.
There's like one more family in front of us. Yeah, and it only goes more south from there.
So cut to back to the coffee shop. And finally there's an opening. And it's like, I'm like, go. And so
it's now or never.
Goes and blah, blah, blah. Does the thing. Comes back as we're talking, as you're telling the tale, and asks like, my lunch is in about 20 minutes. Are you guys still going to be around? And I thought, no. What? Why? What?
You know what I should have said? I should have said, well, I can't speak for his wingman. Or, I mean, I was like, I can speak for his wingman is that, no, I'm going to be somewhere else.
I'll be gone.
But if you want this magic to continue,
it was something like, you guys are
he
fun.
Might be able to, or funny. Yeah, I think she was. No. She was getting a chuckle,
and it was the thing of like, oh yeah, I want to hear about your worst job ever. My lunch is in like 20 minminutes or something like that. So
she's like, if you guys are still around,
there was a through line there that kind of kept us going. So we're like, okay, Anyway, so you're back up at the top here.
I'm at the top.
The family has gone down.
It's finally, and that's the thing too. Okay, look, I'm not gonna be. I will not be. Anyway, I won't be stereotypical. It's okay. Let's just say there was a family. They were all smaller. Okay, they were just all small husband, small wife, and like 3 kids, like 3 smaller kids or something. Guy didn't even blink, just had them get on the raft. You guys are good.
Have fun, gang. Enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Looks at me and my crew of 2.
And he's like,
he's praying that I've just escorted them up to the slide and that I don't have plans.
He's like, oh, not another last
He's
Tuesday.
Like, I am so tired of rejecting these fatties. So so he looks at us and he's like, how many in your party? And I say, just the 3 of us. Like, I try to phrase it like it's just us.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Look, I'm not going to surprise you with anybody else who's standing behind me who might be eclipsed.
Listen
right
here,
now.
Berkeley. It's just the 3 of us. Okay. So you do the math. Like, it's just, So he says, okay. And he points to my niece. He's like, I would like you to come step on the scale here. Mm-hmm. And I'm like thinking, well, wait a minute. I didn't see the family in front of us stepping on the scale. I didn't see the family in front of that family stepping on the scale. And maybe I just missed it, but I swear I didn't see it.
Yeah, you probably missed it.
So my niece gets on the scale. I mean, like I said, light as a feather. Like, and then sure enough, green light comes on. She's cleared. Bing. Shock of all shocks. It's my son's turn. Sun gets on, green light.
And I will say, I do appreciate when you were originally telling this story, you're like, well, he was couth enough.
No, and that's what I was about to say.
I'm sorry.
This is the point where I realized in my brain, because part of me was thinking, well, he doesn't have to weigh them. Like, anybody can clearly see, that unless somebody's secretly hiding the mass of a falling star, that they're gonna pass, as far as this goes. So then it instantly clicks. Oh, kudos to this guy.
Yeah.
He is just trying to be cordial. He knows what's behind door number 3. Like, he knows, and he knows what's about to happen, and just to be respectful and just to say that he weighed everybody that's about to ride on this ride. Yeah. He asked my son and my niece to go on as well, and he totally didn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, well, we're just going to go systematically here. We're going to do it by the book. So he asked me to go on, and I gingerly stomp onto the panel, and sure enough, shock of all shocks, a red light comes on.
Okay, I am in today's sue happy world, litigations up the wazoo.
Yeah.
I am amazed that there is a red, like a green and a red light. No,
I know.
like
I know.
yellow,
Well,
orange.
I can tell you. Yellow or orange. That's even worse. Okay, if you had a yellow or an orange, no, because you know what? No, because you know what that means.
Close.
That means warning. That means this guy is approaching dangerous health levels. And not just red. Red just cancels it out right away.
That's true.
And it's anybody's guess. It's anybody's
it.
guess how much over you are for the limit.
All right. But
orange means that's a pity ride right there. That's like a dude, I don't know if your heart can take this down the slide. Like this is just But
Fair
you
enough.
go ahead. It's your
red is
your
an
funeral.
immediate signal. No, but there's lights at all. Like it's
The fact
not just
that
Hey,
well, they did.
come over
have
here.
a little speaker phone that if you got the red, they also inserted a but they took that out because that was way too many lawsuits.
Too many
That
people
was crossing the line.
All right, well, they're still able
determined.
to keep the red light. Got it.
Well,
Okay.
and then there is, I guess, thinking back, there is kind of a justification for the red and green light because if there's a red light, then he has two options. He can just flat out, I think, say, sorry, this is, that's the 250 limit color right there.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that's what the rule states be. Or he can go to if you ever wonder what this circuit panel was about, he can open the door to his own private circuit panel, and inside is printed the digital reading for the weight that is currently on the scale.
So we just got to see how close, or are we near the limit?
Exactly.
How far over the limit have we
because
sailed?
again, depending on how merciful this college grad wants to be, he can say, "Oh, dude, like maybe he's 5'10" over. Like this is not gonna make a difference." Yeah. And
I've got this window.
So as yet his second gesture of courtesy, he walks over to the contraption or the circuit panel and opens the door so he can take a look inside. What the hilarious thing was, at this point, my niece had come onto the panel just to kind of see what was going on, just to see what was going on. And I guess you could almost call it his third act of mercy. He's like, "Oh, sweetie, if you could just get off the scale. I gotta just real quick."
You're really messing with the numbers here.
You're really tweaking with the
there might be a shot. You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah. And so he looks in the thing, and I look like some guy out of Law and Order. Is there a problem, officer? Like I'm just kind of like I'm just sweating, just perspiring from climbing the stairs, but also I know exactly what he's gonna say. He opens the thing, he takes a look inside, and he's like, "Yeah, man, this isn't gonna work." He's not even debating. Like he's not even taking a beat to just be like, like there wasn't even like hesitant. He's just like, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry." He's like, there can't be any riders over. And I'm like, say no more, my good man.
And that's when he hit the trap door and you fell all the way back down.
Which is ironic because the strain on the trap door, the maintenance involved on that thing would have been.
Scale doubled as a trap door.
Oh my gosh. And so I just look over at my son and my niece who just have this look of bewilderment because I'm not going to prep them for this occurrence. You don't go up the stairs with your family just being like, son, your dad might be too fat to go on this thing. I just want to give you a heads up.
Listen, if I'm not there with you at the end.
If I'm not, just know.
Just know.
I
gave it my all.
I did this for you. I did this for you. So I want to say, like, as the fourth act of graciousness, this poor fella didn't want to have to tell me this.
Can you imagine the training for this that this guy probably, like, is this on the job? He just had to
I don't know, maybe an afternoon. How
do they prep you for these conversations? Listen, watch this training video.
We have a training video made in the last several years entitled "How to Disappoint the Fatties." And so but as a consolation, this poor guy was even trying to make it like, dude, it's not all bad. Like he was like, you can go on either of the other two slides that are up here. You don't even have to wait in line.
You could do the torpedo slide.
You don't even have to. So I'm thinking to myself, do I do the walk of shame down the staircase, back down the staircase, or just to save face, do I go on one of these slides that I know I'm not going to enjoy? One of them is the trapdoor capsule, which I'm not big on, and apparently I can go on that.
Yeah, you can go on that.
Apparently gravity can make me heavier than I normally am and just bring me down the chute. Or I can go on the regular water slide that is an enclosed tube in the dark and wind all the way down and attempt to breathe while water is just flying in my face.
Whipping up in your face, yeah.
So I decide to take the walk of shame.
Oh, you did it.
There's no way I'm going on the other water slides.
Well, maybe.
I'm like, my shoulder blades are just getting cut up on these tubes. Like, it's just not happening.
No?
So I tell my family, I say, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I will see you at the bottom. Enjoy. And the two of their teeny selves just climb onto this giant 5-person raft that apparently I was going to disrupt in some way. I was even going to tell the guy, can I just sit on the center of the star?
What about in the middle?
Like, what about the middle? I understand there's no tubing to really hold me there, but I can hold it together. It's like, dude, you want money? You're looking for money this summer? Here's a 20. Here's a nice crisp.
Do you think I'm going anywhere? Do you think this is really what... Do what you
and
want.
Really, if I fall off of this thing, do you even care? Do you even care? I'm not going to sue you. I could have sued you for the lights. I could have sued you for all the disapproving looks I got on the way down the staircase. I was like, I was escorting my son.
That's what I was going to ask what your cover story was. Like, what's the story? Like, sorry, just making sure the kids got to the top.
I didn't have to do that. Everybody was so just preoccupied that I didn't get nearly as many dirty looks as I did when I was like at Waterworld 30 years ago and had to, that I wimped out on the cliffhanger. It was just...
Not a chance you would have gotten on me. I wouldn't even start the stairs up to that thing.
No, and that was a fun trip down the stairs again because people are just like, what, couldn't hack it? None of that this time, thankfully. So I had to go to the bottom and just wait for them to
do the ride.
Come into the splash pool.
So how was the double bacon cheeseburger that you had to drown your sorrows? Snack bar really.
I finished it.
I know. Sorry, I can't go a half hour without can't go in the water.
That's what I was telling you last time. I viewed it as I viewed it as like this could be a life moment. This could be a life-changing moment. And part of me got kind of like ticked off. I was like, dang it, the fact that I even had to do that and I should have known better. And you're just beating yourself up and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, I could use this. I could use this. I could have a complete paradigm shift. And I could just start eating better. I could start working out. I could slim down. I could get well below 250 after a year or so. Sure. And then I could come back with my son to this exact water park and I could crush these slides. Not literally, but just in spirit.
These slides, apparently made out of balsa wood. You could just come back and
pine.
show...
Because they're made out of pine.
Show them what's up.
It's a well-sealed pine. And...
real slick.
Real slick. And so I thought about all this and I had a moment of clarity. And that's exactly right. I finished my double cheeseburger meal right after that because it was delicious and it had bacon. I wasn't just going to be like, no. Yeah. I paid good money for this.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in this world that can't enjoy this type of food. And my gosh, I'm going to do my part.
So there were other slides in the park that would have accommodated somebody of my stature, but I would have been going on them by myself. Yeah. And I just realized, no.
That lazy river looks good.
That lazy river. Oh, well, we were going to go back in the lazy river, but then my son proceeded to tell me that somebody apparently pooped in the lazy river. And back to the they had to clear that out for 20 minutes while they shocked the lazy river a couple times. probably with high intensity chlorine. I'm like, you know what? I'm good here. I'm good here.
I don't need my limbs burning off in a chlorine
I am
bath
good.
Oh my gosh.
So that was
sounds like a good time.
That was the gist of my water park experience at Great Wolf Lodge.
Yeah.
That was it.
Gosh.
Yeah.
It's all about making memories, isn't it? It really is something that's going to be burned in your brain for the rest of your life.
I normally try to shake things off, but core memory right there. Core memory.
All right. So let me pay off the other story that we've been going alongside of this one. So finish up the story. You and I are having a pretty good laugh at your expense.
At my expense.
But boy, was it
of course.
good. And you tell it so well.
Well, I try.
And we started to wrap up the conversation. Notice now at this point that she has now taken a seat out in the main room there. She's on her lunch break. There's this kind of like
our
oversized
barista friend.
Yes, oversized chair, which is probably, I don't know, like 3 feet from our table. Sitting there, taking a lunch break, and we're getting up to leave. And as we are getting up and gathering our stuff, she's there, and you say, okay, nice guy that you are, I forgot about it. You remembered to pay off the conversation, and you start to go, or to pay off the story, you start to tell her, answering her question about one of the worst jobs that you ever had.
To be fair, she called us out. Like, she basically said, oh, you guys are leaving now that I'm on my break?
Yeah.
That's why I felt motivated in the first place.
Okay, I forgot.
No, it's all right.
So you start to tell this story. Again, another hilarious story about
the worst job I ever had.
Worst job you ever had. And maybe we'll share that at another time.
But
what you didn't see, and what you didn't, and I haven't told you this until now.
Oh my gosh.
So you are telling that story. Your back is mostly to the room.
Yeah.
Directly behind you is a table where there are a couple of people sitting, and it looks to be a dad. I don't know. He's probably in his mid 50s, maybe upper 50s.
Okay.
Sitting across from him, I can only guess is his daughter.
Just
they're
because
having a meal.
Age gap. You never know.
Having a meal. And
you never know.
Another one of the baristas is standing at the table. I can tell that because she's wearing an apron like all the others. And as you are telling this story, they are like talking back and forth between themselves and shooting like darts of judgment our way. And I can see like the gal who works there is talking to them, and I can see them like looking up and looking at us and looking at her, and then talking amongst themselves.
Dude, why didn't you stop me?
Because you were in the middle of the story, and so I'm like, oh no. And that is at that point I realized, oh, we're those guys.
Oh no!
We are.
You did not tell me this.
No. And so you're telling the story. I'm like, well, I kind of want to hear the story. I
do not want to be those guys.
But did you notice like how I was like, okay, bye, and I didn't tell any story. I like walked out. Do you remember that?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, no, I remember that.
Yeah. So what happened was,
I just thought you were uncomfortable with the situation.
No,
I had no idea what was going on behind us.
With like this conversation that was shaping up behind your back. Like I saw like it was like the whisper like, and they look over the shoulder and look, and I was like, oh
no, I became that guy.
You and I became that guy together.
Look,
we became, hey, wingman. No, I appreciate it. But listen, Goose.
Listen, oh, goodness gracious. Right? Well, yeah. That's
so that it was at that point I realized,
oh man,
this is like, okay, kind of friendly, but like, conversation.
I had no idea.
I was like, oh no, Nate.
Dude, I must have been rambling a while. I wasn't trying to. I had to set the table.
No,
I had to paint the picture.
You painted a good picture. And the fact that she's like, oh, I have 20 more minutes left on my break. Are you guys like the invitation to stick around? I was like, oh, we've
said far too much.
We must like dad, daughter, and I can only guess like sibling who was the one that worked there that might have had more context. I'm like, and we are leaving, Nate, because God help us if we're like, oh, those 40-year-old
it's probably good that I didn't Yeah,
and I didn't tell you.
It's probably good that I didn't know, because I would have gone into sitcom over justification mode.
I know you.
I would have gone into like Frasier, like, no, you don't understand.
Like, wait.
She was hitting on us. Like, it just wouldn't have.
She called me his wingman.
Yeah, she's clearly interested in Quandt. What do you want from us? What do you want from us?
It's not me.
I mean, I can totally understand that she would not be into me, but Quandt, he's got something going here. No, not really. No, you have to understand. It's like, we would never, like, do that. No. I'm just saying.
So it was at that point. Yeah, it was at that exact moment where I thought, we have gone down a road and we have found ourselves in the middle of something.
Had we known that you and your daughter were trying to... Wait, she's not your... I am so sorry. Well, good on you, man.
Gosh, I just jumped to a bunch of conclusions there, didn't I? I don't know your story, and you don't know mine. So,
look, you know what?
And that's how that ended.
Forgive us if we were trying to brighten a barista's day just a little bit from the doldrums of her work routine.
On my... whatever, I swear it was out of empathy that I said, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I have worked in a job where I have been public facing, and to take time to go to the bathroom, it is a thing. But apparently, that turned into a little bit...
Here we are trying to lift this girl's spirits, the ones who gets denied for bathroom use all day by you cyclists.
Maybe we made a little personal connection there. Oh, yeah, and by this time... Oh, and she's like, oh, yeah, and the cyclists, by the way, like, don't buy very much, and they tip horribly, too. So, like, there was that. So we learned
shock of all shocks.
Yeah, turns out they come and they sweat all over everything, use your bathroom, and then leave.
Just another reason for me to hate bicycle... No, I'm just kidding.
And that's why I don't exercise, because of those people.
That's right. You've ruined it for all of us.
I don't want to be assumed to be one of those people.
Yeah, that's why I don't exercise.
Just one of those people is the only thing. So that
my gosh
is the story wrapped inside of the story. I had to pay that off, and it was hilarious. I do have to say, as we were leaving the coffee shop, it was like, all right, if that really was what I thought it was, like a little boost to the ego there. Fine.
You know what? You take it in stride.
You
just take it. Yeah.
All right. I get it.
Yeah. That gave you a little pep in your step.
What just happened? And I'm like, I am not going to tell him that last piece until I tell him with a microphone.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I had no idea.
Dear listener, that is it. That is the story. If you're still listening to us, congrats for making it all the way through.
Yeah, thanks for hanging in there.
The 2 stories inside of a story. Nate, thank you. I know it was at your expense, but it was hilarious. And you tell it so well.
A story is a story.
Yeah, and we look forward to you going back and crushing that water park.
Any day.
One way or the other.
One way or the other.
You're going to crush it.
Yeah. What I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to run towards the tube and just jump. Just jump and just belly slide all the way down.
You're just going to hip check whatever workers there into that scale.
And then when I get out of the pool, I'm going to be like 700-pound this.
Oh, that is good. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening into this.
You're
listening to whatever this show is that you're about to or have heard.
Go to stunningandbrave.net and download episodes. They are few and far between, but dang it, we're going to get back on the horse eventually.
Merch and things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Episodes galore.
Buy your stuff, and we're done.